In this video, we're going to cover some fantastic motivational tips for weight loss and how to stay on track and get in the right mindset for success. Hello YouTube fam and welcome to my channel. My name's Melissa Neal and my channel is about helping women transform their bodies, particularly women over the age of 40. But this video applies to anyone of any age. It's about how to stay motivated on a fitness and weight loss journey and lots of great tips for staying on track and how to have the right mindset. So if you like the sound of that, please give this video the thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button to receive the bell notifications, and you can also give me a follow on Instagram. Please direct message me if you decide to follow me on Instagram. I would absolutely love to hear from you. Today we're going to talk about motivation and mindset. And why is that? I've covered in a lot of my other videos on how to lose weight, what the right diet plan is, what the right exercise plan is, but I often say that you need to have the right mindset. So I thought it was about time I covered mindset for you guys. So I am absolutely delighted to say that I've brought in an expert on sports psychology who's going to take us through some fantastic tips for staying on track and getting in the right mindset, making sure that we have the right motivation for our weight loss and transformation journey, or it may be just a fitness journey. Her name is Phoenix Liberty Rain, and she also happens to be a great friend of mine. We've actually been on holiday together, and I'm going to just put this video up of us belly dancing, which is pretty hilarious, isn't it? That was on holiday in Egypt a few years ago. She's had a lot of influence over me over the years on my fitness journey and given me some great tips and advice. So I thought it was about time I got her on my channel. I'm so delighted that she's agreed to take part in this. Phoenix is a trainee exercise and sports psychologist, but she's been working in women's fitness for over 15 years, so she really does know her stuff. She's a GB powerlifter and she's also the British record holder, so I'm really excited to have her here, and we're really lucky that she's taken time out to talk to us. She's also a single mum, so she knows what the pressures are like in terms of having family responsibilities and everything else. She's over the age of 40 herself, and she's a bulldog lover, and she loves gin. That's gin, not Jim. Yeah, I know. So let's hear from Phoenix now. The first key thing that Phoenix talks about is something called process goals. So that's opposed to the end goal. We need to work on our process goals, and those are the steps that we take to get to our end goal.
Or if you wanted to lose, say, 10 kilograms, okay, and that was your goal outcome, what most people will do is they will focus on the outcome goal. But when we look at sports psychology, because I work in sports psychology, for some reason, when it comes to applying ourselves to a training program or a nutrition goal, whatever it may be, we don't look at those little chunks. We just look at the end goal and go, okay, well, I need to lose 10 kilos. That means I have to exercise, go to the gym or go running, whatever you decide to do, and I have to eat well. And really, that's where a lot of the thought processes stop. It takes a much bigger thought process, but also a plan that's put in place, a support network, check-ins weekly, all of these things. These are all process goals. So once you've started, you've then got things like, now I need to know, how am I going to break down my meals over the week? Am I going to have 3 meals a day? Am I going to have 5 meals a day? What is the template that I'm going to follow? Once I've got that template, how often do I need to go shopping? Do I need to be putting aside a time on an evening 3 days a week to do the meal prep? Do I need to put time aside to go to the gym? So all of these are process goals. And then the really important step, which people forget to do, is reflection. So A really good tool is a journal. So a lot of people journal, so they're right, but you can use voice notes, you can just talk out loud to yourself in the mirror. All of these things are processes of reflection. I go, okay, well, this happened. Why did it happen? How did it make me feel? Was there anything I could have done differently to make that day go a different way? So if I'd forgotten to eat all day, how about if I'd maybe just packed myself a sandwich box in the morning, or would pack lunch, and then I would have been able to pick at it during the day. So there's things that you then go, right, I'm strategizing now. I'm going to reflect on what happened today. I understand it didn't make me feel good. I want to feel good. And these are the things I'm going to do next time to make it go better. And so the next day comes along and you put into action the reflections from the night before. We're more able to process this because we've talked about it. We've actually sounded it out. It's not just a thought that goes around in our head and doesn't come to a conclusion. You can go, okay, well, that happened today, but it's not going to happen tomorrow. And I can see logically how I can fix this or make adaptations so that this is a work in progress. And I think that is the key thing, is recognizing that these are works in progress. Nobody is going to be perfect from the start. Nobody's going to be perfect after years of doing it. The power of reflection and then review and then application is what moves us forward and gives us progress.
I thought it'd be really useful for us to find out why it is we find it so difficult to keep on track, particularly while we're in quarantine or lockdown and we're spending quite a lot of time at home.
When we're in our homes and we have homeschooling going on, so you might have your kids sat at the same I do. I have one part of my desk over here with a computer and my child is sat next to me doing his work over there. So you have other distractions around. So he might be asking for help with his homework. I have my dog at home who just loves the fact that we're at home all the time and wants to play constantly. But obviously it's very distracting when you're trying to sit down and work. I've got the kitchen right there. So rather than me having, meal prep going on where I'm going, well, I need to pack my lunch, I need to pack snacks, I need to know what I'm eating for the day. I'm like, well, why do I need to know? I can go in the kitchen anytime I want. So it becomes a very unstructured kind of like flowy day, which in some ways is great because we have more time and more fluidity, so we can be a bit more flexible with our lives. But when it comes to something as structured as following a nutrition program for an outcome, or following a training program for a certain goal, it then becomes difficult because, for example, I have a commercial gym in my garage. So I literally need to go out my door and open the garage and I'm in there. However, trying to train at home has been very difficult. I have trained at the beginning of lockdown. I was training a lot. I was training like 4 or 5 times a week. Now it's like 3 times a week. Some weeks I've done 2 sessions, and I am a competitive powerlifter. I'm a GB athlete. So that is literally what I do. But my goal has been removed from me. So whereas normally now I'd be in the competitive season and I'd be working towards, well, it would have been the European Championships this weekend. So I would have been away. My goal's been taken away from me. There are no competitions this year. I'm not going to Europe. I'm not going to the World Championships. So my reason for training has gone. And I think with the general public who are training for maybe appearance or maybe just to, fit into their clothes better, do we really need to do that when no one's seeing us? We're not going out. We're just in the back garden at home, and we're probably wearing really casual clothes like, jogging bottoms and T-shirts, and you're not really recognizing how your body feels in a suit to go to work or that sort of thing. The second part of this, and this is really important, is that everything now happens in the same physical space. So this applies to not just your nutrition and your training, but also your capacity to work. If you're trying to self-direct yourself around projects and things, and you haven't got team meetings online and things like that, it can be very difficult to just get the motivation to sit down and do the work when you've got, kids fighting outside. One of them is asking you for more food. Your dog's jumping all over you. The doorbell's going because you've ordered loads of stuff on Amazon just because you're bored. All of these distractions going on, but you're also trying to work in your living room. You're trying to relax in your living room. You're trying to spend time with family in your living room online. You're now trying to exercise in your living room. So we have no physical separation of all of these competing priorities.
And Phoenix had some really useful information if we do happen to have fallen off track, how we get back on track.
You do need to have the motivation and the willpower to want to do something about it. You know, it's not just going to happen because you think about it. So if you are concerned that actually you've worked really hard for a long time and you take pride in going to the gym and you know it makes you feel better both physically and mentally, then it's you're now going to have to apply yourself to the reasoning to work out what is going to get you back into that zone. So first of all, I'd say make sure that you have a structure in place, and you have a structure for each person in your household, because if you're trying to stick to a structure but the rest of the family is just doing exactly what they want to do, then it's going to encroach on your ability to do stuff, because not only with physical space but also mental space. So schooling, work, or whatever you want to do. The second thing is make sure you're doing your meal prep and your lunches as if you were going to work. So do the meal prep the night before or whatever you would normally do, have packed lunches, have these things set out during the day, have school bags set up. The next bit would be having your weekly calendar and putting in your training sessions as if they were meetings. So the same thing that we would always do, just applying it to the home environment. So making sure that, okay, well, I normally train on a Monday, Wednesday and Friday, and I normally train at 9 o'clock, or I normally train at lunchtime, or I normally train after work. Do the same thing, put those things in and make sure that you have it in your diary. And you know what? It's going to be a work in progress. It's going to be hard because, as we've already discussed, there's lots of other stuff competing for your attention. It's distracting and competing priorities. It's going to be hard because it's emotionally quite stressful right now. And, those things can make us feel like, oh God, I really feel a bit down today, or I'm not quite sure that I can do it today, or it's, we start to let our emotions kind of pull us away. And personally, sometimes it's taken me like a whole morning just to get out into the garage and work out, because I've felt really quite low because things have been stressful here, and I'm worried about family, and I'm worried about friends, and I'm worried about personal things going on. But just the thought of, it's going to make you feel better once you're out there and once you've done it, has made me get out there and do it. So it does take a bit of willpower, and, willpower is finite. We don't have enormous amounts of willpower, but use it wisely. Try and do as much as you can. And it might be that you start with 2 sessions a week, and that's enough. You've done 2 sessions a week. Great. So the next week you might do 2, but you might do 3. The next week you might have a bad week and do 1, but it's fine. We can reflect on that. We can review why that happened. Maybe there is other stuff that is more important, but just keep going. Use a reflection, use the strategies, use things like journaling. Why you want to do this? Is it going to make you feel better? What did you get out of it before? Was it for mental health? Was it for physical health? What are the reasons that you enjoyed it before? How can you then bring those emotions back into play now?
I found that information really useful and helpful, and actually it really helped me to understand why sometimes things go wrong. And we're all human, aren't we? We can't be perfect all the time. And one of the things that I thought was really useful, and I'm going to start implementing, is journaling. And I'd love to hear from you what you found useful about this video. So please do comment below. And if there's anything else you would like me to cover, do comment below. And if you liked this video, please do give it the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button to get the bell notifications, and do give me a follow on Instagram, and don't forget you can direct message me. I've put up here a playlist of my best videos, so if you enjoy this type of content, have a look through these videos on weight loss and fitness for women over the age of 40.